So I was just thinking the other day, Oscar, do you remember like before you worked here and you saw all the Golden Gate Manor cars around? Did you ever think to yourself, gosh, what the heck did those people do there?
Man, I would see these guys every day in, day out, left to right, thinking to myself, is that the Golden State Warriors from the Bay Area, the basketball team? Like, who are these guys?
And that's how it was for me. I was like, I don't even know what they do. And then now that I'm on the other side, I get people asking me all the time, do you guys do assisted living? Is it transportation, city cab,
Right,
medical supplies? And then they're like, oh, did you just open a gas station?
right,
And I'm just
right.
like, yeah, we do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We're a little all over the place here.
And today we're here to unpack that for you guys.
Welcome to
Gridlock and Gridlines.
This first episode is going to be an introductory episode, just kind of give you an overview of what our company is, how we do what we do, and why we do what we do. My name is Zach. I'm going to be the host today with Oscar. He's going to be our co-host. It's going to help us get us where we need to be.
And real quick, I just wanted to jump in here and if you guys are expecting corporate titles and, stiff intros, it's not going to happen here. Not going to happen ever in the future. Zach and myself, we're going to be the host for Gridlock and Gridlines from here on out. So get your popcorn. We're excited. We're ready to rock. And
yeah, we're pretty
feels
excited
good.
for this. Me and Oscar work together on the marketing team. So
Yeah.
that's why we felt like doing the podcast and having the conversations made sense for us. Because that's what we already do. We already meet people where they are and kind of have those conversations about our services and explain to them what we do as people. So at the end of the day, that's what we're kind of trying to expand upon, just so that we can even take it to the next level, so that we can teach people how to traverse these services so that they don't have any problems with them,
Right. And, one of the biggest problems that we noticed is understanding these resources themselves. And that's why we're here to bridge that gap and get you over Golden Gate.
Yep. And that's our big main kind of motto here, is that like our goal at the end of the day is to bridge the gap of accessibility to these services, as well as the understanding of those services. So at the end of the day, that's what we're kind of looking for. And that's what our podcast is, Gridlock and Gridlines. So the gridlock portion is just going to be all those hurdles that we have to face. And these can be anything. It's just all the different things that we have to run through to make sure that we can present these services. It could be state level decisions that are out of our control, or something even small, just as the weather. So at the end of the day, like, we're hopping over these hurdles every day to make sure that these services are available for the community. And the grid lines, it's really just the pathways that we're taking, the roads that we travel, and the lanes that we stay in, so that we can reach those goals for the community. This first episode, I just wanted to start off by introducing myself. My name is Zach. I've worked with Golden Gate Manor for over 3 years now. I do a lot of the different marketing and do the web content and a lot of things like that. Not only do I do all that stuff in the office, I do have a lot of frontward facing activities that I do, like a lot of relationship building with people in public, going to different events and stuff like that. And I always have the biggest fun at them, because you get to see the actual impact that we're bringing to the table for these people in our community. Because every time I go to one, we always have people mentioning like, oh, wow, thank you so much. You guys have really pushed it so that we can get to where we need to be and do the things that we need to do. So that's kind of one of my goals is, as a person here at Golden Gate, is to continue bringing that to the table and kind of even try to stack more on that tray to bring to the table.
Absolutely. And just to harp on a little bit about what you mentioning there, about the love and Golden Gate and everything that we do to provide. Ever since I stepped foot into this facility, you could feel the reputation that this place has built for itself, because the community loves Golden Gate. And whenever you mention, or I was doing cold calls last year, and whenever I reach out, I want to say about 95% of them were all love, and they knew who we were, and they're all more forward to help us out, help each other out down the road. But with that being said, it just feels like this place didn't just get here overnight. It's hard work and just moving forward and continuing to sail that ship in the right direction.
Yep. And that's pretty much what this podcast is actually doing anyways. We're going to kind of travel to new territories with the ship and plant a flag and kind of go into new directions so that we can make sure that everyone's on the same page with us. So if the Golden Gate Manor Inc. name is new to you, let me break it down for you a little bit. We're a family-owned business, and we have an umbrella of different services. Our company specifically was built just so that we could bridge that gap of accessibility to these services so that we could show up for our community.
Which we are located in beautiful Pueblo, Colorado.
Yep. And, we do service throughout Southern Colorado pretty broadly, especially with our transportation services, which if you come and talk to us in person, we'll talk your ear off about it.
Oh, most definitely. Let's jump into the company. I'm excited. Cool.
So our company started at the beginning with assisted living. We did first purchase our first house, and we've kind of grown where we are now with 5 houses here in Pueblo, Colorado. So our houses, we call them houses. We don't call them facilities. We don't call them anything like that because we keep everything as a home-like environment, full kitchen, full staff, 24/7. We really try to make it so that you can
Love
come
it.
home at the end of the day as a resident and just sit down on the couch and watch some TV.
Kick your feet up.
Yeah, at the end of the day, our goal is never to take away the independence of our residents, you know,
I
so
love that, and just to go back, important phrase there, home-like environment. That's a home
exactly.
run hitter for me there.
Yeah, exactly, and a lot of people get really into it specifically just because they feel so at home at our houses.
So I'm gonna also open up the door here for our Golden Gate transportation, non-emergency medical transportation. And this is our to and from Medicaid covered appointments throughout Southern Colorado. And we also have a company that will take you for more general public transportation with City Cab for over 50 plus years strong. City Cab.
Yep, and, you know, even on top of that, we do also have our medical supply store, which is a fairly newer addition to our family here of our services. So we provide home medical equipment and supplies throughout Colorado in general. You know, we do have like an online e-commerce, so if anyone wanted to buy something or they needed something anytime, you can always come on to www.goldengatemedicalsupplies.com.
I love it. I love it. And this next one here is one of my favorite places. It's going to be the Golden Gate Gas and Goods. We got to stock up on snacks. You got
Yeah.
to get your slushies. And, maybe here and there, I may have to make a little stop, a quick trip to the beer cave that just freshly new remodeled.
Yeah,
So,
especially going into that gas station in comparison to others, you know. Yeah, like first glance looking at the company, it just seems a little confusing. Doesn't seem like everything connects, like gas station, medical supplies.
you
It just
sort of
doesn't
think
feel
to
like it,
yourself,
right?
yeah, you sort of think to yourself, it's like, what are these companies doing on the same list as each other?
Yeah.
It
But
has to
like,
cross the
if
mind.
you take a step back and actually like look at the bigger picture and zoom out to it, there is like a central theme with the business. And
Right.
we do have that connection, which is access.
Access to transportation, access to care,
Mhm.
access to stability,
Yeah.
access to everyday essentials,
Yep, pretty much, and then just access to that
access.
independence in your life, you know? So, with what we provide in our services, that's kinda what we're trying to achieve here, you know? A lot of people don't really see that a lot of these different services have ripple effects. So, like, when we are trying to get to transportation for some kind of medical issue, like maybe we have, like, a wound on our foot that we can't get to heal. Well, we go to
Right.
the appointment, we can't get access to it, we can't get to the appointment. Well, that ripples out, and now we can't heal it, and now it's extended the healing time. Well, let's go to the next step. Like next step up is I went to the appointment. Now they tell me I need wound care supplies. Oh, I don't
Right.
have access to a medical supply store. So then it just keeps going. It's just the same as like if you don't have access to a local grocery store nearby and you wanted to go and get a snack, you know, that's
I
the
get
same
you.
as like our gas stations, you know. So at the end of the day, these small ripples do become a little bit bigger, you know, and our goal is to ease upon the traversing of these subjects just to make them a little bit less complicated.
And with that mean, harping on the complication part, it's like at times it is what it is, and sometimes it is out of your control. The system is just complicated.
Yep.
But we're here for you through every step and to explain that and to, break it down and unpack that.
Yep, and that's why we wanted to do the podcast as well on top of it, just so that we can have these conversations, these real conversations with clarity, as well as coming from like a real human being, so that you don't have to go and search on Google and do all this extra research yourself. I mean, at the end of the day, like our goal is to provide that information, but I do want to extend on that a little bit. Like
And
we're not really trying to
right,
perform guarantees, you know, each person
right.
has their own personal experience, especially when it comes to benefits and different kinds of things that they're trying to traverse medically. So if that comes down to it, you have specific questions and you want us to answer it on the show,
Right.
just send us an email. You can send it to podcast@goldengatemanor.com, or you could just give us a phone call at 719-696-8032, and we could have a conversation if you want to just have a conversation as well. So we don't even have to put it on the show if you don't want it. We're always happy to answer some questions, you know?
And what we can do is just explain the lanes and the realities and what we can do next.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's kind of our goal is help you traverse it so that you can kind of make it a little easier on you. So yeah, that kind of just leads us into what the main topic of the podcast is mostly about, which is just really just to give an overview of what we're going to be talking about and
Little
kind of going
yeah.
through. I know we did
Yeah.
kind of mention it and talk about it a little bit throughout kind of our previous conversations that we were having during the podcast just already, but let's give a more of a fuller overview of what we're kind of trying to achieve too.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, over time, our goal is to break this podcast into a mini series over time.
Yeah, I just wanted to put in Medicaid series. We can talk about
Yeah,
different things, how to traverse specific Medicaid complications.
while having fun.
Yeah, we wanna make sure that it's fun,
Yeah,
especially, especially that everyone's getting
absolutely,
specific questions answered that they want in a way that's human and understandable, so that the
absolutely,
clarity that they're looking for. We have obviously different places to go. We can talk about transportation, we can talk about assisted living, and we really do wanna talk about all these things and what are the best questions to go about in the process of these areas. And really, at the end of the day, one of our big goals is really community based connection. So it's really just like that focus on Pueblo and our work culture here at Golden Gate Manor in general.
oh, absolutely. And down the road, we have planned. We want to get special guests, including people from around the community, such as community partners, healthcare professionals, and people who can answer the whole hard, cold questions, so to speak, with real world perspective in real time as things are happening in real time. Excuse me. But I know you just mentioned too. We're gonna also get our staff involved, which I'm excited about too. You know what I mean? Have them explain, how's working for Golden Gate, so to speak, and
Mhm.
it's a good outlet for us, most definitely, and we're excited to have everybody here with us.
Yep. Thank you all for tuning in. We're really excited for everything. And, we have to start somewhere. So we're starting right here
Absolutely,
with our introduction and then coming soon. Just keep an eye out, and we'll be trying to build this into a resource for the community as well as
absolutely,
different people that may need it. So just
absolutely.
reach out if you have any questions and we can go from there. So let's jump into the next segment. It's just going to be just different questions that we've received. I know that it's just the first episode and there probably shouldn't be any questions, but with what we do, we get questions every day. And so we already have some stockpiled from different people that we've received either through messages or over the phone or things like that. We want to do this at every episode. So we want to just answer different questions. We're going to call this segment Questions Meant to Be Asked, Answered. So
Questions you
let's just
meant
jump
to
into it. So I
Let's
was
do it.
just gonna
ask,
go and
answer.
have this question that I got in an email the other day, and it was
Yeah,
kind of just in regards to transportation. So it's like, why does paperwork matter so much?
that's a great question. That's a great question, and at the end of the day, it's because the system runs on documentation. Even one missing piece can pause the whole process. I know it may sound a little old school, so to speak, quote unquote, but it's usually fixable once you know what's missing, and, it's all about documentation and having everything in place and, laid out and
And and really, that's
ready
exactly
to
what we're
go.
trying to do with the podcast as well. So we also have some segments on our website to kind of go over like what specific documentation is necessary for transportation and why it's necessary. A lot of
Right,
it is things that are just put together policy wise from upper level like legislation and regulation based bodies.
right, right. Well, great question here. I have one here for you too, Zach. Here, why do things take longer than people expect?
So when it comes to transportation, a lot of people don't really see the actual like background aspects of things. So we do have like a live dispatch actively happening in real time. So a lot of times things do take a little bit more time sometimes other than perceived. So like yeah, you may have an appointment time scheduled, but sometimes weather conditions, road conditions,
Yeah,
different things kind of play a role in how that's going to get
Mother
through
Nature.
and get pushed forward logistically. So sometimes like it's every single day for us, especially with transportation, is a logistical it's a puzzle. Like we do a logistics every single day when we're doing transportation, making sure that we get people to where they need to go and make sure that they're all happy.
Right,
Because at the end of the day, too, is like if someone's appointment takes a little bit longer and they had to wait a little bit, are we supposed to just leave them? No, we're
right.
gonna make sure that every person to the best of our abilities, obviously, gets as much care as possible. So,
I love how you mentioned, the weather, Mother Nature. It's
mhm.
reality that, a lot of folks don't really take into consideration, especially being in Colorado and one second it's snowing, next second, 1 second you're ready to go.
And people don't
To the
understand too
lake.
is like not only are we juggling a lot,
Yeah,
sometimes our clients and our patients and our residents or whoever we're
yeah,
doing things with, they're also juggling a lot
the
too. And
realities.
reality catches up, especially when you're kind of doing real stuff, especially when it comes to like people's personal lives with medical appointments and things like that.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
all right. And I had one more question that I think that we can get off real quick.
Let's do it.
And really was just kind of, I mean, we did kind of briefly answer it a little bit, but I feel like it's a good one to kind of come back to.
Let
And
me hear it.
because we get it all the time, it's like, what's the point of connecting all these services that we do specifically?
Ah, I love that. I love
And
that.
'cause I like this question because,
A little
like, as I said
reassurance.
before, like, everything does kinda overlap eventually, like, especially when you take a
Yeah.
step back, and what we said, it was really that each one kind of affects each other, so transportation
Mhm.
affects your care. If you can't get to transportation, you can't get to care. Care affects independence. If you can't get genuine care, then you can't have all the independence you need. So if you need to get, like, a walker or some kind of mobility aid, like, how are you gonna get that if you can't get access to it?
Independence affects stability, and
Yeah.
stability affects everything.
Pretty much, yeah. So without
Yeah.
that first block there, like, you really just end up in the mud. So
Yeah.
it's really just having those different stepping stones to jump from. So,
I get it.
really, those are the questions that we had asked recently. If you do have any questions and you want us to answer them here, just send us a phone call at 719-696-8032, or you can send us an email at podcast@goldengatemanor.com.
Thank you for listening to our intro podcast episode of Gridlock and Gridlines, sponsored by Golden Gate Manor Inc.
Yeah, so if you have any other questions, topic ideas, or you just wanna reach out and chat with us, just start on our website, go to our contact form and kinda push something through, and we can kinda go from there. If also you wanna see anything that's kinda coming up in the future, follow our socials,
Follow our socials,
and we have our
guys.
Facebook page, Instagram. Just come
Please.
on and see us on there.
Yeah, check us
Um
out. Check us out.
we're gonna have the phone number as well at the bottom, as well as the email if you do wanna send in any other information and kinda go from there.
And then I'm just throw that in here. And if you're a caregiver, professional, family member, or community advocate who wants to join us on an episode, please feel free to reach out. We'll talk to you. We'll see if we can figure something out. We'd love to have you on the episode here.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us for Gridlock and Gridlines. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, guys.
From Pueblo streets to open skies, we're glad you took this ride tonight. A little support, a little light, turning stuck into alright. A Golden Gate Manor, care in our lane, helping you through the real life strain. With heart we keep it true, helping Southern Colorado keep its wheels turning. Gridlock and Gridline, see you next time.